earlier on told you about a great conversation we're about to have, very instructive because we're going to educate ourselves, also do a lot of introspection, but also look forward to Ghana's tourism sector. And we're looking at promoting our own domestic tourism. A friend of mine in the US said, particularly for a particular year, he could book ahead, let's say in January, that by June, he was going to the Niagara Falls. He lives in the US, for example, and he said he could book lodges around there and all that, but you do that as part of the calendar year. I don't know, for us, we just wake up tomorrow, so we could leave next week. We don't tend to plan and travel around Ghana. But look, the tourism sector has been contributing a lot to our GDP. You get to look at the literature and the numbers, over 3 billion in excess. Dollars, we're talking dollars, that's a lot. Somebody I know so well, he currently has been in charge of it for the last couple of years now, Chief Executive for the Ghana Tourism Authority, our own man, Akwesi Agyeman is here. Good morning to you, Mr. Akwesi Agyeman.
Good morning.
Yeah, and I have the president for the Tour Operators Union of Ghana, has to be, or is the association now?
Union of Ghana.
Union of Ghana, TUGA. Yeah, Alisa Osaya Samoa, good morning to you.
Good morning.
In the early years, there used to be this man who operated, is this Star? He used to be the head of the president.
Mr. Bonsu.
Is it Bonsu? He used to be at Circle.
Yeah, he was the first president of TUGA.
Yeah, we used to travel a lot to Togo.
He was one
Benin,
of the founders, yeah.
Yes, the founding, okay. And then we're going to have joining us on stream, Deborah, but in the studio is Richard Kwesi Kilson.
Yes.
Okay, good morning to you. You are board chair, Boti Falls Ecotourism Center.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
All right. Mr. Akwesi Agyeman, I see that you have, I was just last week watching one of your, is it your TVCs that you put on your social? There was National Call in as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought it was a great piece.
Yeah.
How is the sector in terms of the revenue, and then also what the projections are always or have been for the last couple of years in terms of what you intend meeting?
All right, thanks for having us, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
We always
Thank you.
follow you. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Kudos to you and the team here for always highlighting critical issues, and I believe that tourism is one such critical issue. I always say it's a low-hanging fruit that if we plug it, we could really be on a different trajectory. I don't know whether you're talking specific to domestic or generally, but generally... Generally, I mean, we'll say we've recovered strongly from COVID. I mean, so last year, our report that we put out said strong recovery. Because if you look at all the indicators, international arrivals, domestic numbers, number of facilities that we license, all the various indicators show that we've managed to recover. I mean, even beating, in some cases, pre-pandemic levels. I mean, if you compare 2019 to 2023, you clearly see that we've done a very good job with that. And so I would say the sector, for me, it's one that has potential. I mean, we haven't gotten to the end of it, but I believe that if you ask me, I would say the glass is half full rather than half empty. Half full in the sense that from where we are coming from, every year we see growth. I mean, sometimes in excess of 55%.
Very incremental.
Incremental.
Okay.
But if you look at the potential that we have, given that we have all these sites, given that we have all these attractions, cultural activities, things of interest. I mean, if you look at the way tourism is moving globally, it's become more interactive. People want to experience the culture. It's no longer a sightseeing industry. People go and they want to be part of what is going on. And we have it. We have several festivals that are all over the country, and people want to come in there and immerse themselves in that. And so to that extent, God has blessed us. It's for us to work together to make sure that we get to the pivot of it. And I believe that if you look at the numbers year on year from 2010 coming through 2017 when we launched See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana, we've seen that we are on the path of getting to the top. But still, there are a few challenges that we have to address.
All right. Madam Alisa, at the end of the day, I don't know what we can attribute it to. Why is it that we're willing to go to Dubai? Of course, it's nicer, etc. but we're not willing to travel to Ghana because I think on a competitive advantage level, it is cheaper. Why?
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, my brother, for giving us this platform and your viewers as well. And as my boss said, you are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me start from COVID time.
Okay.
When COVID came up, we realized that, our businesses are in jeopardy. Domestic tourism, we're not promoting domestic tourism. And domestic tourism is one of our objectives, the association objectives. So we decided that we would have to tour the region, the 16 region, to know the product. Because some of us, for the past 20 years, we haven't been to the sites. You draw itinerary and you don't know the product. You give it to tour guide. At least we should familiarize ourselves with the product that we are selling. And also the access to the place and all that. And promoting it for Ghanaians to know that we have everything in here. The reason why Ghanaians were not traveling, when we came up with this agenda, this project, and we did feasibility studies, we realized that Ghanaians, when you talk about tourism, is moving out of the shores of Ghana. Why? They said our product is expensive.
Really?
When they have 1,200, we are selling the product. Of course, when they have 1,200, they can get the costs, their flight costs in the 1,200. They can get their accommodation, and they can do the tours. So what we decided is, then the stakeholders, we have to talk to them to at least give us special rates for Ghanaians to visit Ghana, leave money in the country rather than moving outside the country. So we did. Every region that we go, we speak to the hotels, and with the help of the hotel president, we got some of the hotels that we wrote to them, and they bought into our idea. Even though it's difficult, the taxes that they are paying, they try to give the association rates for especially Ghanaians, that it will enable them to travel. So we tried it, and as I speak now, the domestic travel has increased tremendously.
Okay.
When GTA gave their report, the evidence is there. So now Ghanaians are traveling because rates are now affordable. They can do a return journey to Cape Coast and back. They can do overnight. We have our people that we market to, and the social media, everything is there. So now the patronize is great when you look at the statistics. So the reason why they were not doing much, even some of us, they even thought we don't have places to visit when you go. But when we started and we visited places, we ourselves, you
were surprised.
We were surprised.
You, the operators, were surprised.
Especially when we went to the Volta region, we were surprised.
All right.
So now Ghanaians are traveling. Holidays, you could get calls. They will call you, what package do you have? Where can we go? So I think it has improved tremendously.
Mr. Kilson, I remember, well, I haven't been to Boti in a while, but I know that we've had stories here. Sometimes access to the place is a difficulty. The living area, trying to lodge closer to the site is also difficult because you have to then book somewhere else before you're close. If you see the way the outside world, or perhaps the developed countries have structured their tourist sites and the value chain around it, is this something we can replicate here? And why haven't we been able to do it then?
Thank you very much. Like our boss said, a lot has been done. You mentioned
my friend's experience.
I was there right after Easter this year.
Niagara?
Yes. And we are, for just the 3 days, they were expecting 7 million visitors.
Just for 3 days?
Yes.
But that's from around the world.
Yes. And it was just because of the eclipse.
The one that happened recently.
Good. And everybody wanted to be a part of it. But then also, in that same vein, this year, you look at Disneyland, and you go through, it takes 4 days. You have to take 4 days to package and go through. You can spend a day to do 4 different modules of visits, or maybe 4 days. And that means, like you said, the value chain. I think a lot of work has been done in Ghana, a lot. And from us also as a private people, you see the government enablement to help us to be able to do what we are doing. Currently for Booty Falls, we are working on some rooms, about 25 conference centers. We have, I think by September, a zip line and a canopy walk across the waterfall is going to be open to the public.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. And an Olympic-sized swimming pool, you see. So there is some work that we are doing, and like Madam said, as they go around, they, yes, albeit costs have risen. For example, you know, yesterday, electricity has gone up, you know, water and all of that. So operational costs maybe, so some of these things also go into what in the end we offer onto the teeming public. A lot of Ghanaians, like Madam said, did not know what we have. And I think that GT has done a lot of work. And
oh, that's
Madam
true.
President,
That's
a lot of work.
That's what Mr. Ejima and his...
So we, as the operators, also have a duty to key in and do what we have to do from our part. And that's what we are trying to put into place. I think it's teamwork. Some work has to be done from our side, which we are trying, and we are also, with the kind of enthusiasm that GTA and all the partners in the field are trying to do, I think that a lot of work has been done. We are expecting more, and we assure the public from our little end, we do our part. We will make tourism exceptionally exciting to the ordinary Ghanaian from where we stand. And it should be cheap for you to be able to just get up and say, okay, I'm going to Koforidua, and within an hour, I will do this, that, and then I can come back, and the value chain you mentioned, you don't need to cook. Sometimes when they were coming to Booty, it takes maybe a whole night. The whole house will not sleep. They have to cook jollof, do this, do that, do that. But when we provide the value chain at our end, the family is eased of those problems. They just drive in, come in, enjoy whatever it is, and then they go. I think there is a lot of room.
Okay.
And,
all right. Mr. Ejima, at the end of the day, from the policy side, I think that from the work you have done so far, there seemed to be the incentive for people to travel. What then will be the best value proposition, you think, to draw people out more? Because we've done well post-COVID. What then can we do more to draw people out more to the sites?
I think it's more of product improvements. I mean, like if you go to Boti, and I've been there, and you see the sort of improvements that have gone on there, and this is private sector money, you know. So the sort of partnerships, I think the partnership model that we have been promoting in the industry is something that will take us there, because with the sites we have them. I mean, I can't count the number of waterfalls that we have in Ghana, but it's not something that government should necessarily be the ones doing it. And so we came out with a new legislative instrument, 2393, which seeks to regulate tourist sites and attractions. And one of the things that we are promoting strongly is a partnership model, where in these communities you have the assembly, private sector, the traditional council working together. And so if you go to Boti, that is a typical example where the site has been leased out to a private sector. He's made all the improvements into it. And that is what it ought to be, so that the incentive for the private sector is really providing the infrastructure that will make it easier for people to go there. So road infrastructure, that is where I think government should focus on. But there are a few instances where we've had to take the lead and say, okay, I mean, if you look at the tourist sites, there are some that are public sites. either under the Forestry Commission, directly under maybe like the Museums and Monuments Board, and in some cases, a partnership that GTA will have gone into with the communities, like in Tampa Waterfalls is one of them. And so really product improvement is critical. And with the LI that we have, 2393, it says that the governance structure of these sites must also be looked at, where every site must have at least a representative of the assembly, a representative of the traditional council, and GTA part of the management board of the site. Why is that important? Because we realize that without the input of all these stakeholders, I mean, you go to a site where, for example, with a waterfall, you need more land. And these lands belong to either families or traditional councils.
Yeah.
You have the assembly who feels that they are the revenue owners of every facility. And so they will come to the site, they want you to be paying the revenues directly to the assembly. But if you add them to the board, and so that LI is really helping shape up some of these partnerships. And we've managed to really work with the assemblies to iron out some of the differences that you see. And so now I can count several sites that are privately managed but publicly owned in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the land being for maybe
what really comes under your purview? Let's say you take a place like maybe Safari Valley or Aqua Safari. How do you classify those ones?
So those are resorts and hotels that we regulate. So we give them the license to operate. So there is a regulatory part, which is the licensing. And so we do that for all the hotels. And I'm happy to say that we've seen increased activity. I mean, the number of hotels that, if I cast my mind back, 2017, we licensed about 3,500 accommodation facilities. Last year we did over 5,000. So a lot of people are investing in the area, especially with accommodation facilities. It might not be the 5 stars. We are hoping that we can get more upmarket hotels, 3, 4, 5 stars. But at least if you go to the guest houses, the budget hotels, a lot of them are springing up. And then you also have increased activity in sites. So a place like Safari Valley, for example, is private sector, but it's a place where now a lot of people are going, are visiting, and so we work with operators.
That is upscale people. Yeah.
Oh, not necessarily upscale. I mean, you see, the people do. There are people who go there to stay, and that you probably will have to have deep pockets like Madam Alisa to be able to afford that. But then people also do the day trips. And I've been there where buses are coming in, because with the day trips they have an aviary, they have a zoo, other things. So people want to go and see animals, want to be part of the canoe rides and other things. So it's a mixed use area, and I think it's helping. More are coming up, like the Crown Forest Reserve in Gomua coming up, and so many other people are investing at the peninsula in Akosomo and all those things. So once we're able to show the numbers, and I think for us, one of the things that I'm happy about is when we started publishing the data. Because when people, investors, in our reports, because investors...
For which the latest is the 2023 one.
23. Okay. So we started it in 2019. And prior to that, people wouldn't know. So if I'm an investor and I want to put up a hotel in, let's say, Boutique, around Boutique, I want to know how many people go there. And so once we get the data from the operators, people know that, okay, then the sites are attracting. Let's take a place like Kakum. Last year, it attracted over 157,000 people. And so if you put up a facility, let's say even a small 30-room hotel around it, you are sure to attract some visitors who might want to stay overnight. And so those kind of numbers that we put out helps direct where the investors go. I mean, Akosobo area, for example, is one of the areas that you've seen a lot of people investing in.
All right. Oh, we'll go to the Central Region and touch base with Thomas Kano, who is our correspondent. But, Madam Alisa, at the end of the day, I know that some of these initiatives are involving would also mean that you're trying to make sure that you're making inroads in other regions. How has it been for you, based on your observation and what we can do to improve?
Okay. So as I indicated, when we go for these farm trips, it's in 4 package. We are going to familiarize ourselves with the products and the accessibility. How to get there if the roads are accessible, and also the delivery services, customer service. And we look beyond other things, you know, the washroom and the site itself. So far, some roads have been fixed. I was even surprised when we went to the Volta region, for example, and Central region. You know, Kakum, we've been talking about it for the past. When we went there, the road has been fixed. And the Monkey Sanctuary in Volta region has also been fixed. We're so happy. Now, our last trip, for example, I'll cite it. We are doing great. We did Great Accra just 3 days ago. We went to Ada. We did the inner city tour, which is the Kokrobite. We are passionate at that place because...
You mean even Accra, you take people around, like they do in the UK, where you'll be in the...
Oh, yes, we have partnered with the...
we have a city tour bus.
City.
Yeah, I've seen the city tour bus do the...
So that road leads to Cape Coast, and there is another road from Budumbram that can be used to come all the way to Kokrobite to the old barrier. Now, people now are interested in the beaches for inbound tours. They will ask what beaches we have, and we have nice beach houses at Kokrobite. They have their social media, so they will even cite that we want to come to this place. But the issue is when they come, that road is in bad state. The Kokrobite road.
And these are for white people who are coming, or foreigners, or local?
Inbound people, the white people.
Inbound.
And Ghanaians during holidays, they go to that place a lot, about 20,000. You can imagine. And we want to also come up with itinerary in such that when they come from Cape Coast, they can spend 1 night or 2 nights. Then they move into the city. So if that road is fixed for us, it will indeed help us.
It will help.
But apart from this one that we have advocacy, you know, advocacy is one of our objectives. So apart from that, the other places, most of the roads are fixed. We went to the north, we went to Ashanti region, we are so pleased. When we come, we write report to GTA, we work directly under them. But this particular one would affect our itinerary if that road is not fixed. I'm happy that my brother talked about the project, Mr. Kilson, the project that they are coming to do. For example, the challenge that we have at his place, Boti, is when we go there, we have to organize for somebody to bring us food. You won't get a restaurant there for us to sit and eat. We always want to arrange. Then they will bring for us.
They have a restaurant.
You started. Yeah. Okay, then fine. That's what I'm saying.
So you're going to take your own cooks to their restaurant to cook? Or?
No.
They'll bring there wasn't a restaurant.
We had to arrange for that. So I'm happy that now they have, and that will help us. And so service delivery, we have some of them. Their washrooms are in bad state. We've written to GTA. The place that we went, and the customer service. As for the customer service, they have done this Obatampa project that GTA had.
But if let's say there's a public facility and the washroom is bad, you just do private collaboration. You go to GTA.
Exactly. Even with them, we speak.
Anyway, let's go to Thomas Khan. Thomas Khan, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Roland.
Yeah, where are you coming to us from? I see you behind. I see an aerial view. Where is that?
So currently I'm at Fort William, and you know it is one of the major forts we have in the country, built by the British, and we know that Fort William is one of the very vital tourist sites in the country. But unfortunately, the fort is not serving its purpose because now people only read about it in books. For instance, when you want to come here, the access road is really terrible. The road is almost washed away, and then it's only left with a pathway which is also full with weeds. That I think that authorities need to come and then work on it. For instance, many people come to Cape Coast, visit the castle, either the Cape Coast or the Maynard Castle, but the forts are left because of accessibility. Because even the way or the path to the fort is in a sorry state, Roland. And I've been asking around, especially residents who live close to the fort, and they are also grieving that the fort is not being put to good use. Quickly, I would want to engage who is the head of education here in the Central Region at the Monuments and Museums Board. Mr. Morgan, quickly, you are live on New Day. Can you tell us why is this place not that vibrant? Why are we not hearing or seeing about Fort William?
Thank you, Mr. Khan and the media genre. It's true. It's most unfortunate that it seems this facility is neglected, but that shouldn't be the case. All attention has been on the Cape Coast and Elmina castles, but if we are to put measures in place the way it should be, I guess, for instance, when the visitors come to the castle and we direct them here, they will come here, and even if they pay 2 cedi, 3 cedi, 2 cedi, at the end of the day, it will generate income to Ghana Museums and Monument Board, and then forward to the consolidated fund by the government, so the government can also use it. So we are all calling on the authorities around and to come to our aid. We are ever prepared to help this Fort William, built by the English in 1822, to grow the way we want it to grow, just like the Elmina and Cape Coast castles.
So, Roland, that was Mr. Robert Morgan.
Okay.
And then just some meters away, we have the Fort Victoria, also there, all abandoned. And from here, I wish we could get a view of it. Very beautiful, but unfortunately, that has also been abandoned and then not being put to use.
All right.
Roland, that is the story.
Thomas, thank you very much. Mr. Kilson, it looks like...
Comment on that. I think it's a good report, but I'm happy to say, I mean, there was a UNESCO mission in town. You know, all these forts and castles are it's one package of heritage sites, and they are all listed on the
UNESCO
heritage sites. And so there's always a challenge with these sites in terms of what you can do and what you cannot do, because it has to be left. The reason why it's listed is the history behind it. But we've engaged with them. This is under the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, and our minister, Honorable Ejapa Mensah, I mean, has engaged with UNESCO, and they've agreed to some readaptive uses. So I think very soon these places will be fixed. I mean, under the direction of the minister.
I think you were nodding your head, so you seem to be familiar with the issues.
Yes, like Safari. Visitors from Safari, they book ahead with us and arrange, maybe when they come there, they come to Buti to come and join us. You have people from Akosombo,
the peninsula,
the peninsula area, who also do bookings, hotels, make arrangements with us, and then they come. So there is some kind of teamwork that we've begun to do between us as operators. The key issue that we have, for example, is to do with the roads, as we do ours. I know, Chief, the GTA has done a lot of work in getting, you know, the roads ministry and all of that to get interested in getting
most of the sites or some
our
of the
places
sites.
connected. The connection is the problem, because any person who is coming and you go through
what connection?
Those are some of our roads.
That's the road
coming to our end.
This is the Buti Falls road.
Yes, and that's the best
You
part.
mentioned hotels. And tour operators.
This one is the best part.
You haven't mentioned tour
Oh,
operators.
no, Madam President, you're right.
Because they give you hotel.
It's true. So basically, we want to also, as we do what we do, we plead with the government. I know work is still ongoing on some of the major arteries, you know, and they plan to get to us, but we wish that it will be expedited so that...
I like you. You are like a diplomat. That's good. Miss Amiel Debra. And Amiel Debra, if you go to his social media pages, he's always doing content. He's traveling in planes, eating the food in plane, telling you the ingredients used, how they taste like, etc. So I call him as somebody who, of course, champions and advocates opinion on policy. and then also chronicles his experiences as a tourism person and then an influencer and an entrepreneur as well. I mean, Deborah, you take a look at your experiences outside the country that you've been to, and then when you travel in Ghana, what do you think is the missing link?
Well, I think most of the panelists have talked about it already. I think the road network is quite terrible. I mean, no matter what fine experience we have in terms of the destinations that we may have in Ghana, if you struggle a lot before getting to those destinations, it sort of wears you out, and it's not the kind of experience you want. Unless, of course, it's part of the experience, like if you were taking a safari or you're going to do something that is quite extreme and the roughness of the travel is part of the experience. But if it's not, then it's something that the tourists didn't sign up for. And traveling around Africa, let me limit it to Africa, you realize that a lot of other countries have done much better when it comes to the roads that connect them to connect people to their key tourist destinations. And I think, like your guest was saying, the board is working and authority is working and improving roads, but we need to see a lot more of it, especially since most of our attractions, the ones that people, historical attractions, and all those ones are a bit further away from the cities. It's important that we give people who are traveling to those places that amazing experience. I mean, I just came back from Cairo, Egypt last week.
Yeah,
and
amazing place.
When you see, it's like, I mean, we went to one place, Sharm el Sheikh.
Sharm el Sheikh,
and
yeah.
They've made that place for tourism. And so the roads are just smooth, no traffic. And it's just an all-round amazing experience when you go through something like that. I know it's taken lots of years for them to do what they've done, but I think we can start and we can see hope, and then now we build on that. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for this update as well. We have to go for a break, or are we continuing? Okay, we're going for a short break and then we'll come back and wrap up.